Today we're going to talk about coatings. Now these get all the love and attention in the detailing space, and for good reason. They're the single biggest factor when it comes to the ease of cleaning your car, the shine on your car, and the protection for your car. Now coatings are a pretty broad term, so we're going to talk about that more in depth, because what actually is a coating, how do I apply it, and what are some of the most crucial aspects of coatings? So talking about coatings, back in the day, right, mainly we had a lot of waxes. Eventually we had some sealants on the market, but waxes were really a big thing. As the market has matured, especially with the introduction of ceramics, we now have spray ceramics. We also have ceramic coatings. All of these things are considered coatings. Now with that in mind, what are the best coatings, or what are our favorite coatings? Me personally, when it comes to coatings, I love these two things right here. Now they all have different benefits on application, longevity, shine, cost, and I think these two are the best bang for your buck. Now if you want to be more meticulous in a smaller coating process, this is the Nitro 8 coat. You're gonna hand apply it, and it's gonna take longer, and you really need ideal conditions, but because of that, you can get 2 years or more of protection. Also, we've got our Nitro V7 spray. Now this is much easier to apply. This is water-based. If you're in an outdoor area, let's say sun, or you don't have a garage specifically, this might be your better bet. This is gonna get you 12 to 18 months of protection. Now lastly, I know some people love wax, and I get it. Sometimes I wanna wax my car too, buff it out, and there's just a certain shine, right, that it feels undeniable with wax. That's why we also have our Nitro Glow here. Now, personally, I would recommend using one of these two products as your base coat, and then you can touch it up with the Nitro Glow every couple of months or however often you feel like waxing your car. And yes, you're gonna layer on more protection, you're gonna get more shine, get that pop of shine, but as a base coat, you're gonna get better results from one of these two products. Now, one of the most overlooked aspects of coatings is prep. It's all in the preparation. And that's why I'm gonna bring attention here to our Zero Wash and also our clay scrubber. If you're not prepping your car before you apply the coating, there's different layers. And what happens a lot of times is you don't get all the contaminants off the paint, and there's prior waxes or sealants that are also on the paint. That's why we want to use a zero wash, also known as a decon wash or a strip wash, to properly strip the car of all contaminants and all previous waxes. Then we come in with our clay scrubber here for our mechanical decon, you can call it, and that's going to really get in deep to the surface, removing all of the last bits of contaminants. Then, with our car nicely prepped, we are ready to apply one of our coatings. Now, when it comes to actually using this, we're gonna put 3 to 4 ounces into a 5-gallon bucket like so, and we're just gonna do our standard 2-bucket wash rinse method. We filmed another longer video earlier, and that's all about the wash method in depth. So here I'm kind of just showing you briefly how we're going about it. Now, one of the big things you want to be mindful of is getting all of the surfaces. We really don't want to skimp on anything here, because anything that we're going to coat on the car, we need stripped, right? We need to get that off. So as an example here, coming back down, like these lower rockers, but also the wheels here. Wheels are something that people can forget about. There's a good chance you're going to coat your wheels. So you want to make sure this is properly deconned as well. Once you're done washing the car, you're gonna then rinse it off again. All right, and now we're gonna talk about claying your car, also known as mechanical decon. Now, claying your car is using a clay, which there's a multitude on the market now, on the surface of your car to physically rub against your car and take off those stronger, harsher contaminants. Now, some of these contaminants you're not able to see to the naked eye, but if you take something like a plastic bag and run it along the paint, you can actually feel the bumps. You can feel this kind of bumpy surface, and you can almost hear it through the plastic bag. You can especially see it on white cars and sometimes black cars. It looks like little specks. And again, this is just deeper level contamination that doesn't come off unless you do something like claying. Now, when it comes to claying specifically, traditionally it was literally this, a block of clay that you would then use to rub on the car. You would kind of spread out, and then eventually as it ran through, you'd toss it, rid of it. Very tedious process, not fun. Recently on the market, newer tools have come along, such as a clay mitt and a clay towel. Clay towels do not work very good. Clay mitts are decent. Then this came along, which is our little scrubber, our clay scrubber here. So on this side, we've got this synthetic clay material. And then on this side, we've also got a bug scrubber that we can use for a host of other things, that we're really focused on this. Now, one of the biggest things that you want to focus on is lubrication. Going back to our last model, what's the first thing? All about lubrication of the vehicle. So we will be using our Clutch Gloss here, which is our quick detail or drying aid. Also works great as a clay lube. We want the surface of the clay to be nice and wet. We want the surface of the car to be nice and wet. As you can see here, I have a wet car. That is okay, but it really depends on, are you in the shade or not? If the car is in the sun, we don't want that water drying out, in which case you want to just spray clay. Because we're in the shade, which is ideal, we can do it in this way. Going back to that, if you do clay in the sun, I've clayed in the sun before, product will dry very fast. So do smaller sections, make sure you're constantly reapplying here and constantly reapplying here. Now, another thing to note with the clay is, yes, we are scrubbing the car, right? We're using clay to scrub the car and mechanically get things off, but we're still being mindful of our pressure. If we see an area with visual specs that we need to give a little bit more pressure to, we can do that. But if we do too much pressure, the clay will actually come off onto the surface of the car and mar the car. Yes, we can get that off, but it's a huge pain in the butt. So we want to be gentle, again, as we are claying this. And then glass, we can clay our glass. I would recommend it. It especially works great on windshields. An area that you don't want to clay is plastic trim specifically. All right, now we've cleaned the car, we've deconned the car, we have chemically deconned the car, and we have mechanically deconned and or clayed the car. So now we've got the car perfectly prepped, ready to go. We still want to dry the car. So we're gonna hit it with some Clutch Gloss, our drying aid here. Less important to use a drying aid, but what's important is making sure that the car is properly and nicely dried before we put this coating on. All right, now before applying any coating, paint correction is always gonna be a factor. Traditionally with waxes and other type materials, paint correction is definitely gonna help you get the most shine. With that being said, when it comes to a true paint correction, you're gonna have to pay a detailer $1,000 to $2,000 roughly to perform a paint correction, or if you're doing it yourself, you're gonna need to spend at least $300 to $400 on materials, as well as, let's say, 48 hours in a weekend. So it's not a quick and easy process. Part of this depends on the condition of the paint if you are gonna undertake that. What I would say is if you have deep scratching, largely visible scratching, then yes, you definitely wanna get that paint corrected if you're doing it yourself or someone else is doing it before applying the coating. You can still apply a coating over larger scratching like that. It's just gonna, going back to our castle wall metaphor, create some pockets in the coating where it's weakened or damaged. If you have smaller scratches, some of those can be hand corrected with a hand polish, and I would recommend that. So if you do a walk of your car, you're seeing, hey, I have some of these smaller scratches, try a hand scratch remover, try a hand polish, see what you can get out on your own, because you would be surprised, and do that before applying the coating. All right, so now that we've done our proper prep, so we've done a zero wash on the car, we've used our clay scrubber to clay the car, maybe we also used an iron remover for a chemical decon, we might have done some scratch repair, scratch removal. It is time to apply our Nitro V7 spray. So this is our 7H spray-on ceramic coating, and it's uniquely water-based. There's not many coatings that I know of on the market that are 7H and water-based. Now we make it water-based, so it's super simple and super safe to use. This is gonna give you 12 to 18 months of protection depending on the preparation, which is why I'm so big on the preparation. With that being said, let's talk about how to apply it. So right here, I'm in front of a garage. Coating the car in the garage is gonna be more ideal. Why? We don't have any wind, we don't have any dust particles, we don't have any sun to worry about. Now, I didn't have a garage for most of my detailing journey and detailing my own cars at home, and there's a decent chance you don't either. So some sort of shade, right now we have shade, we're still in the early morning, late afternoon is good. Maybe you have a carport, shade sails will massively help. If it is hot, it's gonna flash and come off the vehicle quickly. That's why we wanna work in small sections so we're getting it off properly. Now, when it comes to actually applying this, personally, my favorite way is a microfiber sponge. So I'm just gonna show you here. I spray into the microfiber sponge, get a good amount of product on there, and then I can wipe it on the car. And I can see right here where it's leaving some of that on the car. Might be hard to see on the camera, good with the naked eye. I like this because personally, I just find that I'm really dialed in and I'm really in touch with the car paint, as silly as it might sound, where I'm applying this coating. And it just, I think it comes out better because you're really paying attention to the detail. That being said, because of the way we made this coating, you can also just spray it on. You'll see that orange liquid start to come out there, but also starting to drip off a little bit, which again is why I like spraying it into a sponge. You can spray it into a towel. I just personally find that when you spray into a towel, it doesn't work quite as well as the sponge. Now, coming back, I'm gonna wipe this product off, getting it more rubbed into the surface, and then come with my secondary towel, which is I'm just gonna use to polish it off. Applying it, what surfaces can we use on? Basically anything on the exterior of the car. The only place we don't wanna put it is on tires. So I'm putting it on the glass, I'm putting it on the car paint, I can put it on trim, basically any other sections. And another reason why I like this is when it comes to the rims. This is really nice to get it on the rims and get it into particular sections. So we're not putting this on the rims first and then applying it to the rest of our car. If you can give it an hour, don't drive it, that will help it get a soft cure. And then the longer you can go for not driving it or getting it wet, the better cure you're gonna get up to that 24-hour point. After 24 hours, it doesn't matter as much. Congratulations, you have coated your car. Congrats on making it this far in the video and learning the proper way to coat your vehicle. And I'm assuming you watched our second video on the proper wash technique as well, so you know the proper way to maintain your vehicle. I hope you have your glasses and shades ready because tomorrow your car is going to be shining. Now, we wanted to help you get the best results and not give you this massive 21-step process. That's why we put a few kits together to make it super simple and easy for you to get the best results possible. With that, we have our base coating kit, we have our full coating kit, and then our full detail kit. Each of these options will make sure that you get a good, proper coating. Of course, the more products you have, the better results you're gonna be able to get.